2 new impact players, curry garlic and pumpkin chili. Need something delicious before kickoff? How about starting your meal with their brand new chorizo nachos and loaded fries? You better act fast. These new tastes of autumn won't be here long. So make the trip to one of their 2 Lincoln locations today on O Street or Village Lane.
Hey everyone, Lance here with Black Label. We specialize in creating custom crafted decks, pergolas, patio covers, and more. Plus, our retractable screens, gazebos, and patio enclosures create the ultimate outdoor retreat. With over 50 years of combined experience, we're not just builders, we're creators of unforgettable memories.
Call them today at 402-730-6333 or visit blacklabelbuilt.com for a free consultation.
Let's turn your backyard dreams into reality.
Black Label Built, built to serve, built to last.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Hurry,
this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for $437 per month for 36 months. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1004120, 437 per month, lease for 36 months with approved credit, 7,500 miles per year, 5,500 dual signing, no security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees, extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 9/30/2024. See dealer for details.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Husker Highway.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
Now's the time to get your John Deere equipment inspected and prepared for next season. Acres trained technicians will thoroughly evaluate your machine and get it running at peak performance. And for a limited time, Acres is offering early inspection incentives. Sign up before December 15th and qualify for a discount on parts installed by Acres. Get no interest and no payments until November of 25 with approved financing through John Deere Financial. Some restrictions apply. Contact your nearest Acres location for details.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between, we'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Sartor Hamann Jewelers is celebrating 119 years as Lincoln's top choice for fine jewelry. Join us for our anniversary sale going on now through October 20th. Enjoy an exclusive 20% off on in-stock items, including dazzling diamond jewelry, exquisite rings, and luxury watches. This once-a-year event is our way of saying thank you to the community that has supported us for over a century. Mark your calendars and celebrate this milestone with us by indulging in spectacular savings only at Sartor Hamann Jewelers.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome into Ticket Weeknights. Indeed, it's a Monday night, which means we are in for some fun. It's our Husker Football Hour. I'm your host, Austin Orman, joined as always on our VIP line, brought to you by Aloe Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart, by lead columnist for the Omaha Herald Sports section, Mr. Tom Shatel. Tom, happy Monday. How was your bye week?
Good. I watched football. It was good.
Heck yeah. What more can a guy ask for?
Absolutely.
Let's start with this. What was your favorite game of the weekend?
Well, I was at a function Saturday night. I had to keep one eye on Ohio State, Oregon. That was pretty damn good. I couldn't make the end of K-State, Colorado. I tried. I don't understand why that game started so late, but I'm assuming somebody watched it. They got ratings somewhere, but it's pretty late. It was up and down the dial all day long. It was I saw Wisconsin Rutgers score. I saw the score. I didn't know, and I saw Shiano's comments, calling it unacceptable. So, and then I heard Husker fans say that doesn't bode well for Nebraska, and so I don't know. Who knows? But USC Penn State obviously was a hell of a game, and I don't know that all this travel, all these narratives about two time zones and hurts people and hurts this, and I think it just comes down to I don't think anybody cares when the game's played. So, but anyway, we got a game this week, and it's going to be a good one.
About time. Nebraska coming off its first bye week of the year. They will, of course, have a second in the second week of November. It's Nebraska on the road against not just a top 20 team, but a borderline top 15 team. Tom, Indiana up to 16th in the polls. What a turnaround in year one for Curt Cignetti, for a school that, would think of itself as a basketball school. To have the football program do this and leading the way, it's been an incredible turnaround in just 6 games for Coach Cignetti and the Hoosiers.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, so I give him this. He's pretty entertaining. He was, when he showed up and he started talking about I win, Google me, and this and that, I was like, yeah, okay, buddy, we'll see. But it was just, he's done it. He's winning, and have they played a great schedule? No, but who cares? They've won, and they've looked good doing it. And he brought in, quarterback, and he's done it with the portal. Mm-hmm. It's sort of a microwave approach. Matt Rule today was asked about that, and I mean, I don't think we need to pit one against the other. There's different ways to do this thing, and Rule's doing it differently. I'm sure some Husker fans, well, why couldn't Nebraska go 6-0 in the first year of Rule? Well, just a different deal. He didn't want to get rid of the players there, and he wanted to wanted to build. So both approaches work. So, but it's fun. If you've ever been to Indiana, basketball arena, Assembly Hall is iconic. It's legendary. It's very intimidating. Football, not so much. But you know, it reminds me of an old Big 8 stadium. The press box is a lot like the old KU or K-State. You know, some of those Iowa State boxes. And it's very old school approach. You know, the fans are not necessarily on top of the action. It's you know, but they'll be sold out and they'll be ready to go. I wonder how many Husker fans from around that Indiana area, you know, Ohio, Kentucky, you know, maybe northern Indiana or Illinois are going to drive in for it. So I think it's going to be a shootout. Indiana didn't play a lot of defense. Nebraska does, but you got to assume Indiana, you know, after the Illinois game, Illinois really had a lot of success on Nebraska's secondary. That was not one of their better games, but I wonder, having Tommy Hill back, if that, I mean, the secondary is going to get tested, and but hopefully that means that the pass rush is going to be back there too.
We'll certainly have to see. I mean, a great game for a guy like James Williams against Rutgers. So I'm sure it's going to be one of those types of games where whoever gets, you know, just one more stop than the other team will win. But Tom, maybe that's just what this Nebraska offense needs right now. It's been in a little bit of a rut, right? You could play a tough defense against Rutgers, but then just really inconsistent. One half has been big. The other half has been, you know, close to a shutout pretty much every game this season. Maybe this is a chance for Nebraska to see, you know, what a full 60 minutes looks like out of the offense, because they might need it. And also maybe just to, you know, restore maybe a little bit of confidence in the play caller and Dylan Raiola living up to his billing as, you know, a 5-star freshman, you know, going blow for blow with a college senior in Rourke for Indiana. We know that Coach Rule's a defense guy at heart. He's told us that so often, but I think it'd be a big step in the right direction for this team, but also for this program to show that it can hang in shootouts and win in multiple different ways, not just with the defense.
Yeah, I think they're set up to do well in a shootout. I mean, with the quarterback, and who's just going to get better. He's just, you know, he's working his butt off. You know, Rule said he woke him up this morning. He was sleeping in his office, and Raiola woke him up just by coming in going into the office. So at like 6:30 in the morning. So he's, you know, he sounds like he's always on fire. He's watching film and studying and those kind of things. That's one of the things that I really have been impressed with this team the first 6 games is they've got playmakers and they've got touchdown makers. They've got guys. I'd like to see the run game get, you know, a little more use and a little more success. I think the bar goes up starting Saturday. I mean, they're not playing UTEP anymore. They're not, you know, it's not Purdue. It's, you know, we saw what Wisconsin just did at Rutgers. So this is every game from now on is going to be, you know, maybe UCLA at home, but they're all going to be tough. But I think the defense will keep them in every game. I think the offense is capable of scoring as many points as they need to. Just they don't turn the ball over. I really like. I think it'll be important to run the ball against a lot of these teams and keep their offenses off the field too. But you know, as I wrote for tomorrow, though, to me, the difference between 7 wins and 8. I've heard people say they're going to win 8, they're going to win 9, and I just, you know, I shake my head. Right now, they can't kick a field goal, and if you can't kick a field goal, you're not going to win 8 and 9 games. You're not going to win a bunch of games. You're not going to. It affects everything. It affects the way you play defense. It affects play calling, decision making during the game, everything. And it's the confidence. When there's pressure, you have to be perfect on offense because you're inside the 20 or 30. You're not going to get 3. You have to get 7. So they need Alvaro to come back. Sounds like he's back at practice kicking. He's day to day. They just said, don't have to rush him back, but hurry up. They need him out there because they need somebody who is going to kick field goals, who's going to put it to the uprights from 30 to 40 yards. I don't need 50. It's fine if it's not 50, but if it's under 40 or under, it's got to be good. And they really need that. It would just take a lot of the pressure off, I think. What's going on right now, but anyway, and clean up the other stuff on special teams. Right there,
right.
I looked it up today. I think that they were 17th in punting.
Hey, not bad.
And Machini's had a good couple games, but they've had 3 punts blocked. His average is down near the bottom of the Big Ten at like 40.7. So they just need to get a little bit more out of that. Stop getting punts blocked and stop getting field goals blocked. I get the snap back, all that fun stuff. And if you're going to try to win, and there certainly are some games that could be won, right? I look at the last 3. USC. I don't know what kind of mood they're going to be in when Nebraska goes out there, but if they lose another 1 or 2, they're not. I'm not saying they're going to go in the tank, but they may not be very motivated.
They just went 7-5 last year. Lacking motivation. We've seen what this looks like.
Yes, and people will be all over Lincoln Riley, so that could be an interesting situation to go into. Wisconsin, I don't overreact to what happened Saturday. Every week is different. Every game, I've seen all kinds of stuff. I just saw Purdue, Illinois. I mean, I don't know what any game means. So for people to overreact to that, I think it's wrong. Wisconsin, that'll be a hell of a game. But it'll be a game that Nebraska play well at home, have a chance to win. And the Iowa game, that'll be a really hard game. Night game, Iowa City, Black Friday. But, these are games that if you play well, you're going to be in the game. So, but they got to get special too. They can't give away stuff, and they've been giving away too much. So, I say all this stuff, and I get all worked up, and I try to remind myself the goal this year was to go to a bowl game, and I did pick 7 and 5. It's not, a lot will have to go right for it to be 8 or 9, and I don't, at the risk of sounding like an idiot, which I usually do, I don't really care if it's 8 or 9. I mean, this is year 2. I don't expect it to be 8 or 9. To me, that would be gravy. That would be a bonus. It wouldn't be. It's not required this year. What is required is to play good football, and they have been for the most part. I mean, I remind myself and others that the turnover margin has been flipped, and it's been on the positive ledger. So a lot of things are going right. But now the schedule ratchets up, and you're not playing, Northern Iowa, and Colorado. I don't know. I think Indiana might be better than Colorado. I think Indiana, Illinois, we'll see what Indiana's got Saturday. Illinois might be better than some of these teams, but we'll see. But it's going to be fun. It's fun to be in the mix. I think they will. If they don't get the bowl clinched this week, it'll be at home against UCLA. So it's going to happen.
It certainly feels like. I mean, you're 1 win away if you're Nebraska from going bowling, and you have 2 extra opportunities to do it. The Huskers got to 5-3 last year. They're 5-1 right now. But Tom, the weather's starting to turn to run the ball weather. I busted out the quarter zips today. It was about dang time for it. Matt Rule has had a lot to say on the running game, saying they have to get more explosive in the run game. As you watch Nebraska, does it seem like the runs are there that Nebraska can pop them to turn the fours into 40s, or are they not even getting the opportunities to bust a long run?
I don't think the opportunities have not been plentiful. There have been some, but I guess I would submit that I don't see a lot of explosive backs. I don't see Billy Sims back there, or Marcus Dupree, or Amir Abdul. I don't see those kind of guys that are going to take a crease and go 60. I think Ramir Johnson has jets. He's got that kind of burst, but I don't think the other guys do. And I think that's why we've been seeing Ja'Cory Barney on some running plays, because they want to put the ball in the hands of a guy who might go deep. So, I don't think the other guys are necessarily those kind of guys. So he wants that, but I don't know that it's available to him. So right now, I just worry about, I know he wants to give people something to think about and go down and score on a big play. But right now, let's get first downs. Let's move the chains and maybe try to keep the other guys off the field for a while.
What has been your impression of transfer running back Dante Dowdell through the first 6 games?
I love him. When first time he fumbled, I thought, oh, okay. That was nice knowing you. I mean, guys that fumble aren't going to last long, and he didn't. He didn't fumble again. He's been unbelievable. I love him, and I hope he stays. I hope he's here. I call him Downhill Dowdell. He's really a tough runner, very impressive guy, very impressive. But again, not necessarily a guy that's going to go 80, turn the corner and go 80. Maybe I'm shortchanging him. Maybe he'll show me that he can, but it does not appear to be the kind of guy he is. But I don't care. I love what he's done. The running back position has been upgraded, and a lot of it has to do with him.
So I take it you think he's running back number 1. If that's the case, you have Downhill Dowdell as your number 1. Who's the best option for number 2?
Well, I don't know. It might depend on the day who's hot, but I think Ramir has earned that. And I love to see him out there. I mean, he puts on moves out there and he puts a lot of fakes on, and he's got guys, diving for his ankles and they miss. And I really like what he does. But Emmett Johnson, how can you not like what he did in the game at Purdue? So he's capable. What I like is no matter who's running it, when they get near the goal line, they don't throw the ball. Okay, center field's going to throw a fade once in a while. He can't help himself. But the last 2 games, they got down near the goal line. They lined up under center. I believe they had a fullback. Maybe I was imagining that.
No, you weren't. It happened, Tom. You could pinch yourself. Yeah. It happened.
And they ran over right tackle and scored. And it was like, wow. I mean, that's how they didn't. That's how the Maryland game was lost last year. They couldn't do that. And now they can. And that's a hell of a thing to have. And that's why I'm optimistic about the second half. But I'd be a lot more optimistic if I felt like they can make a field goal. But yeah, I love what the running game has done. And Rule hit on it today. I don't know if he was intending to, but he said what I've been saying for a long time. You can't be physical and have a power run game, if it's part-time. It has to be something you do in practice. It has to be, and they do practice it. They don't always use it during the games, but they do practice it. And I think it's not like a secret weapon, but it's there. And I think they've been very good at it. Illinois, maybe they could have used it a little bit more. Sometimes if the offensive line is not having one of those games, then maybe you can't run unless they're dominating. But, we've said this many times with Dylan Raiola and those receivers and tight ends, you're going to throw it. and you'd probably be crazy not to. But it's good to have the run game when the weather is going to start turning. Wait till those West Coast guys get a load of that. Oh my God! I mean, Oregon can get a little chilly. San Francisco certainly.
LA not so much.
Oh no! Wait till those guys get a load of coming in here in November. So it'll be. But we know what it is. We live it. We've been living it forever. We love it, and that was Nebraska's identity in the Big 8 and the Big 12. So we know what it's all about. Today's world, you got to throw it. Nebraska's very good at that too. So I think the versatility of the offense, and I have to say, I would love to see Satterfield. And I wish I'd written this tomorrow. I'm probably too late to sneak it in. But I'd like to see more of Ja'Cory Barney stuff. I'd like to see Heinrich Harburg package or two under the goal line or in the red zone. Or I'm not saying they have to run the option, but get the ball in his hands as a runner. And he runs over people. He runs through them. He runs past them. And he outruns everybody. Very good runner. And we're talking about a curveball after you've been defending Raiola for a couple of quarters, then all of a sudden here comes this. And then Carter Nelson. Remember Carter Nelson trying to be Superman on the goal line, leaping over tall buildings. I'd like to see more about these kind of things, and maybe we'll get to those. But those are three guys that could really help them against some of these, tougher games. Starting this week. So Ohio State is, I'm not going to make any promises. But I don't.
Nor should you. You've been in the game long enough to know better.
Well, I hope that's a close game. I know people think, well, Nebraska won't win that game, blah, blah, blah. I think it maybe should be a 4-quarter game. I think Nebraska has the kind of players, the quarterback to do that if they block and tackle. But we'll see. I'm not making any promises. I'm not saying anybody's going to win or lose. But I'd like to see that game. I think it could be competitive and maybe should be. So we will see. We'll get to that next week.
That we will. Indiana is the task ahead. We got to flip it over to Monday Night Football here on our airways, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with lead sports columnist of the Omaha World Herald, Tom Shatel, on stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Channel 961 right after this.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, frost likely this morning. Otherwise, we'll see mostly sunny skies for today. The afternoon high around 62. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low around 37. And tomorrow, more frost in the morning and sunshine for the day. We'll see a high around 57. I'm meteorologist Kyle Bucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
Hey everyone, Lance here with Black Label. We specialize in creating custom crafted decks, pergolas, patio covers, and more. Plus, our retractable screens, gazebos, and patio enclosures create the ultimate outdoor retreat. With over 50 years of combined experience, we're not just builders, we're creators of unforgettable memories.
Call them today at 402-730-6333 or visit blacklabelbuilt.com for a free consultation.
Let's turn your backyard dreams into reality.
Black Label Built, built to serve, built to last.
Be sure to check out the top-selling Recomp. Recomp helps build lean muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Recomp is ideal for men and women of all ages trying to look their best. Recomp can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket. All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today. I'm ready. Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread? I can't stop eating it. Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Riddle's Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Riddle's Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Riddle's Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest, and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Riddle's Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Riddle's Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more. All at Riddle's inside Gateway Mall.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on Ticket Weeknights, Husker Football Hour. Austin Norman with you in the Ticket studios, joined by Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Allo is where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We'll get into the Big Ten slate and the national slate here in just a minute. But, Tom, before we went to break, you mentioned three guys that you thought Nebraska could look to get more involved: Ja'Cory Barney, Heinrich Harburg, and then Carter Nelson. I want to start with Heinrich Harburg because the comparison, it's obviously not one-to-one. They're different players. But Luke McCaffrey comes to mind, right? Quarterback by trade, has some versatility you can use all over the field. I remember, Tom, it was my wedding day. Nebraska and Ohio State are playing to kick off the 2020 season. Nebraska comes out and runs some I formation with Luke McCaffrey, and their Ohio State was not ready for it. McCaffrey ends up with 9 rushes for 80 yards on the day, even though Ohio State ends up running away with the game. But what that showed me, at least in that moment, was that Nebraska had some game plan creativity, and that they were willing to stick with something that worked. It was a whole drive of I formation before a slight overthrow ends up in an interception, but Nebraska went away from it. Tom, I just don't know if I have the same feeling that this Nebraska coaching staff would have the same conviction to do something so off the walls and so off the scouting report and then stick to it for 60 minutes to win the game. Maybe they'll try it for a play or two, but for as much as Nebraska's upgraded the talent, it's not so talented as to just be able to line up across from the guy on the defense and say, this is what we're doing. You can't stop it. I think the coaches need to embrace some creativity in the second half of the year. And a guy like Heinrich Haarberg, I think, can really help fit that bill.
I agree. And, but again, when you got Dylan Raiola, you don't want to get too nuts. I mean,
Right.
you've got the guy who, I mean, he's going to be the best quarterback in the Big Ten, and that might happen by the end of the season. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Indiana's got a guy. Obviously, Oregon's got
Gabriel.
Gabriel. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but all I know is you've got a guy that everybody else wants. So, don't put him on the bench to do something that you don't necessarily have to do when, frankly, I wanted Dylan Raiola, might be good enough to give Ohio State a lot of problems.
Well, there's the reason they wanted the guy.
I think he would be, he's right. So, my thing is put a couple packages in there for Haarberg. They tried to run some option last year with him. You remember that? And they were trying to figure out. They had Ron Brown in there trying to help him with the option. And he's not going to pass. He's not going to beat anybody with his arm, but he can sure run it. And so they were trying to do some of that stuff. Again, the option is one of those things you have to practice it all the time and to be real the timing of it, have to be really good at it. But I would think you could throw it in there a few times a game, or maybe not every week, but just have something available, or use the Wildcat. I'm digging deep into my repertoire here of a fantasy play caller, which I'm terrible at. But there's what I don't want to see is I don't want to see Raiola line up as a receiver. We're not fooling anybody. The only thing that could happen there is something bad, that he was hurt. So if they're going to put Haarberg at quarterback, I don't think Dylan needs to be in the game.
Right.
I don't think we're not fooling anybody by having him go out for passes. I'm not saying he couldn't do that. He's a great athlete, but I mean, we don't want him to get, one of those safeties to come after him and take him out of the game or anything. So, but in any case, I think these guys are much more creative than I am. They've told us this last spring that the 49ers, the Shanahan model, that offense is kind of what they're after. With the other McCaffrey, Christian, and you've got George Kittle at doing all kinds of things. I mean, this is their model, and they've got Debo, and they don't have all these kind of players, but they've got some good ones, and the versatility is the thing. So, yes, I'd like to see a little bit of that, and when it comes down to beating Big Ten teams, you're not going to do it by doing some trick or some crazy play. You got to beat them in the line of scrimmage every play. You got to finally, you got to pick your spot and you got to make a play, and it just has to. It's kind of a slow drip kind of thing. But certainly Nebraska has the players who can go down the field very quickly too. So, I remember that game. I didn't. That was your wedding day?
That was my wedding day. So the story is that it was supposed to be the previous week because when the first Big Ten schedule came out, it would have been perfect. But then we go and we tour the reception venue, Tom, and we have it all booked. It's ready for the 17th, except there was a couple who was going to have their wedding in March or May who hadn't gone back to visit the place, was still trying to figure out their own plans, who got right of first refusal for the 24th. So the property manager goes back, and what do you know, she has a call from these other people claiming it for the 17th. So we just kicked it back a week to the 24th. Luckily, it was an 11 o'clock game and like a 3:30 or 4 o'clock wedding. So I saw everything except like the last 7 minutes of the game.
I just remember there was a play early where McCaffrey went down the sideline from 30 or 40 yards, and people from Ohio State were going, "Who the heck is this guy?"
Yeah.
And that was the model for him to go to the NFL. And he said no, he wanted to be a quarterback. And then he had to go to Rice to figure out, no, I'm going to be a receiver. So, it was one of those things that, a lot of things went wrong for Frost, and that was one of them. But that was a really weird time. That whole season, people were angry at Nebraska. Nebraska was angry at everybody else, and games were empty stadiums, and just a weird time. I always wonder what would happen if they'd gone to a bowl that year. I mean, they could have gone to a bowl. That was the year to go to a bowl. A lot of teams were. Some weren't going. Some were. Anybody would have had Nebraska, and it didn't matter what kind of record you had.
What was the final consensus? Do we believe that the Nebraska players opted out, or do we think that was an executive decision made for the Nebraska players that they weren't going to go bowling?
I don't know. I think it was made for them. That was my hunch. But I just remember after the Rutgers game, they were whipped. They hadn't seen their families. They hadn't been around. I mean, I was around that with Creighton basketball that year.
Oh,
and
right.
It was just by the end of the year, they were kind of at each other's throats in the locker room, and it was just they were really, they were quarantined at the NCAA tournament for a month, and so this was going on in Nebraska all fall, and they I think a lot of them were tired of it, but it's I don't know. I just wonder would people count the bowl game? I guess they would if they. I don't know what the record was or any of that stuff, but I just wondered if that would have helped the next season or if it wouldn't have mattered at all, or who knows.
And that's where I think the through line is winning creates buy-in, right? For the most part, it maybe can create some selfish players, but that's why I think Nebraska off to a 5-1 start is important for Matt Rule and the way he wants to build his team. If they were, sitting at 500 right now at 3-3, that doesn't feel like a step forward from last year. But I think if Matt Rule wants player retention to not have to do the microwave fix like you said today, being 5-1 halfway through the season creates buy-in. You can see what's out on the horizon, and you're probably not wondering what if. It's just, okay, how do we go actually make this happen from the player standpoint?
You know what I find interesting also about Rule? He's done it better than almost anybody I've covered. Osborne would do it. I heard Switzer. Of course, Switzer wanted to win every game. He was, talking about. But Rule, he kind of sets the rules. He sets the bar, and he's so good at the messaging and the press conferences, and telling people this is what they're doing. He gives updates all the time. Like I said, the guy's building a house, and I always say, well, if you've ever built a house, you never see the builder. I mean, he won't answer your calls. He won't talk to you. Sometimes you think it's, the guy went out of business or something. Mm-hmm. But you never get updates. Rule is a builder who gives you updates every week. And then today he just slipped this thing in about, well, the good teams will be 8-4, 9-3. Well, that's not how Nebraska fans necessarily think, but maybe it's what they should think going forward. Maybe they wouldn't. Maybe I quote myself in here. Maybe we, wouldn't fire coaches with 9 wins if the perspective was a little different. And I think that's the messaging with him. And he talks about year two. We're not only that's supposed to be. People don't want to hear excuses. Special teams doesn't take 2 years to learn how to snap the holder or but they don't have it. The backup kicker is not ready. So yeah, year 2, we're not ready yet. We're not doing this yet. So he had an injury, so it's set back. So I'm fascinated by the guy, the coach who can tell the fan base, this is what's going on. This is how it should be. And people they're all playing along because they believe in the guy. And they want to win, but he does back it up. He gives them, like you said, there's evidence, there's proof that what he's doing is working. So it's all very fascinating. At some point, I said they'd go 7-5. I wonder, and I think you can't know this now. Would it be a disappointment? I don't think it would be. I think it'd be fine. I think it'd be good. But I think we just have to get to the end of the season and how it all played out. But how they play will be kind of the deal. Going to a bowl and how they played, was it clean? Did they play tough and hard? Did they go after people? Was it physical? They looked like they were coached. That's what Nebraska fans want. And I think, so we'll have to add all that up later. But anyway, I find it fascinating that he does that. He says, this is the way it should be. I think that's pretty good. Not many coaches can do that.
Tom, I do have to ask, is Ryan Day still setting the rules in Columbus?
Well, those rules are different rules.
Fair.
Those are Osborne rules. Those are, when you win every year. Now they need to figure out, are we trying to win the national title or are we trying to beat Michigan? For the longest time, Ohio State and Michigan just wanted to beat each other and win the Big Ten to go to the Rose Bowl. And that was fine. That was always good. That always worked. Well, now there is no Rose Bowl. There's no Big Ten. I mean, the Big Ten title game is going to be probably Oregon, Ohio State again.
Yeah.
And, so this Ohio State, Michigan, it'll mean a lot to them, but nobody else will pay attention to it. I mean, it's not going to mean anything to anybody else. Whereas when it was for the Big Ten title, everybody kind of had to watch it, and see what happened. Ohio State will be going through some things. But they like to, Ryan Day is, now look, if they play Oregon again and they beat them, well, which one of those two games would you rather win? You'd rather win the second one,
always,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to get the Big Ten title, and you're going to get the first round bye. Well, whereas Oregon will probably host somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I just think it's the rules when you're building a team that hasn't been to a bowl in 8 years are much different than the rules in Columbus, Ohio.
That part. And I don't want to. Here's the thing, Tom. I got raked over the coals for daring to compare Ryan Day to Tom Osborne. And I didn't mean that in terms of personality or the way that Coach Osborne took over for Coach Devaney and everything. But Ryan Day hasn't won the big one. He's won one game in the college football playoff, hasn't beat Michigan in a while, and that's a problem for that fan base. Maybe it would have been more accurate to say, he's Dabo Swinney before Dabo got the 2 national titles. Maybe he's closer to James Franklin. I don't know. But every generation has a coach that is at a powerful program that wins a lot of games, but doesn't win the national championship. If you're, Gene Smith on your way out or Ross Bjork, taking over at Ohio State, how much are you drawing from Clemson's experience under Dabo, Nebraska under Tom Osborne, versus understanding that you might be a little bit different beast there in Columbus?
Well, there's a whole different dynamic now than there didn't used to be, and that's NIL.
Yeah.
The portal. And is the head coach a manager? Is he a good manager of NIL? Is he able to bring transfers in? Is he able to get that part of it? Are they able to go raise the money? Is he involved in all that? Or is he like Dabo and says, I don't, we don't do all that stuff, I once wrote a column. This was back in 95 or 6. I can't remember the game. I think I went to 2 Michigan Ohio State games when Nebraska was off, and because Nebraska was involved in the national title race, and so was Ohio State, and so was Michigan in one year. One year I went to Ann Arbor, and the first one was Columbus, and I remember John Cooper was like Ohio State was 1 or 2 or 3 in the country, and Nebraska was kind of right behind them or right in there with them. And Ohio State was hosting Michigan. This was '96, and they ended up losing to Michigan. Was the heavy underdog. Of course, in that series, you never know, but they went into Columbus and beat them. I remember, John Cooper was like 1-9 against Michigan or something.
Yeah.
And I remember the post-game interviews. He walked in and sat down and surrounded by media, and just his head was down, and he didn't have any answers, and he felt bad, and he took all the blame. And so I wrote a column for him. This was Tom Osborne. This was what he used to do with Oklahoma. Now, he got some shots in between 81 and 83. Most of the time, Switzer had his goat. He got the better of him.
Yeah.
And so this was Osborne trying to, and Nebraska's trying to figure out, what are we going to do with this guy? He wins all the games, but he can't beat our rival. He can't get the national title. And, of course, by 96, Tomlin had 2 national titles. So I just kind of had fun with that. That's a great point about Ryan Day. You've got to, but here's what's really interesting about this also is this topic is, okay, we all assume that you fire Ryan Day and everybody's there's a line out down the block of guys who want the job. I don't think so. Not anymore. Coaches aren't anxious to take these jobs anymore.
We saw that with Kentucky basketball. That's a similar program to Ohio State football.
You can make money anywhere, and you can get into playoff a lot of places.
Anywhere. Yeah.
And Ohio State is going to fire you if you don't, and some places won't. Lane Kiffin isn't going to get fired at Ole Miss. They were supposed to be a playoff team. They're probably not going to be one. Now, some places, SEC, I think I was fired. I shouldn't even bring that league up. But I'm just saying, it's, Matt Rule was an incredible hire for Trev Alberts. I mean, because Scott Frost, Osborne himself said, well, if Scott can't do it, I don't think anybody can. I mean, that's what he said. It's just like people believe that. And it was like, well, okay, I guess it's over. He got fired. And, Matt Rule kind of fell out of the sky. The NFL deal, the timing of that was incredible. And finding a college guy that good, wants to be back in college, wants to give us, go to a place with passion and money and they care. And he was on. I'm not talking him into it to come back, and not sit out a year. But it's hard to get these guys. A lot of guys don't want to leave, and they can get rich and they don't have to have the pressure. Now, what's interesting though is you want to be in a power too. You want to be where the money is so you can buy players. And I say that. I can't believe I said that, but that's what we used to joke about that. Now it's true. You can buy players. So people, there'll be some takers, but would they be better than Ryan Day? I mean, that's the key. So you always have to be careful with that. Yeah, he's had Michigan. I mean, he got to the national championship game, didn't he? Lost to Alabama. Well, there's no.
Yeah. Beat Clemson, then lost to Bama. And then don't forget, Tom, the next year, they had the team that would go on to win the championship, Georgia, on the ropes until Harrison Jr. got concussed on the goalpost.
Absolutely. I forgot about that game. That was down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So he ran into the Harbaugh. Harbaugh set it all up for a run. But that's what that series does. They both go on runs. Ohio State dominates and Michigan dominates. I mean, so they'll have to figure all that stuff out. But the thing is, Ohio State should be in the playoff every year.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, a ride with the guy, and just one of these times it'll happen.
I'm with you on that, Tom. Ohio State, the Husker opponent in 2 weeks, coming up on Saturday. Nebraska at Indiana. Ohio State will have a bye. Nebraska and Indiana both coming off of byes. Are you thinking that this is going to be a good thing for Nebraska, that they're rested, or do you worry that Nebraska might come out rusty on the road in Bloomington on Saturday?
Well, Indiana's coming off a bye as well.
Yes.
I don't know. I think it's probably more positive. I mean, I think it's the early game on the road is a good thing, because you're not sitting in your hotel very long, and usually the crowd where you're playing hasn't had time to get all juiced up. So I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I really do. I think it'll come down to mistakes. What you don't want is for Nebraska to be ahead or driving, and then something bad happens, a block this or that, or false starts, or you want to play cleanly and give it a shot. I'm anxious to see Indiana's response.
Yeah.
They haven't played a game. I mean, they went to UCLA and they won handily on the road. They haven't played the game like the Colorado game. The Colorado game was unusual. That was one of those intense deals that comes along, not every year. So they haven't had one of those deals yet. This is kind of, and then after Nebraska, they play Michigan, I think. I think they play them at home.
Yep.
So, so they're not going to, I don't think they're going to go undefeated. They might lose this week, but they've got a hell of a leader. He doesn't care. He's cocky. He's confident. And that rubs off on people. And when the quarterback's the same way, they're going to come out firing. And what I've said is, if you're Matt Rule, you win that coin toss, I think you take the ball. I think you try to score first. Indiana hadn't trailed all year. Go down and try to put them, get a touchdown early. And that might backfire on you. But I think that could be an interesting strategy.
I'm with you. Tom, I want to direct people to omaha.com for your column tomorrow at Tom Shatel, OWH on Twitter. Thanks as always for your time, good sir. Enjoy the game this weekend. We'll chat again in a week.
Thanks, sir. Sorry, but
that's Tom Shatel with us from the Omaha World Herald. He's with us on our VIP line, brought to you by Aloe Fiber. That's where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local parts. Jim Philpott, appreciate you there. And John and Cortland down the text line as well. Listeners, appreciate it. Don't go anywhere. We got plenty more ticket weeknights coming your way in just a moment. I know we got DPE. I know we got KP coming up tonight. Harrison Arns in for me next. It's been a great day. Talk to you tomorrow during On the Block.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Gentlemen, it's time to elevate your style with something from our men's jewelry and watch collection. Why not treat yourself to the ultimate in luxury? We've got an incredible selection of pre-owned Rolex watches, even those hard-to-find models you've been dreaming of. Whether you're stepping up your game day look or adding a touch of class to everyday wear, our top-tier collection is sure to impress. Stop by Sartor Heyman and discover the perfect piece to reflect your unique style. Until next time, happy shopping, guys.
NIPCO. For ready-mixed concrete, Husker concrete, and Beatrice concrete. NEBCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL